let's get into this. I decided to do a little budget update for people as well about what happened to transport in the Irish budget, which was announced early this week, so like Tuesday or something this week, or Monday was it. And I've gone through it, trying to find, is there any benefit to us as drivers, as people who require the use of a car? And the simple answer to that is no, nothing helpful has come in the Irish budget to us. It's all sort of penalty. 2.7 billion for transport has been allocated, which is an increase of 384 million on 2019, which is a lot. Now, the idea of this increase to public transport is to get rural transport up and running, right? It's also support the efforts to transform the approach of transport with the climate action plan in mind. Meaningless, wordy. Eamon Ryan, a TD for the Green Party, is kind of like a joke or something. You know, I'm not too sure whether he's messing or he's having a nervous breakdown. I don't know which. He wants to reintroduce wolves to rural Ireland because they're going to kill every sheep they see, for sure, and probably the odd child here and there too. And not only that, he reckons that we only need one car for every 10 people in rural Ireland. Not quite sure about which that one now, Eamon. I think that's a bit of a mess, a stupid thing to say, really. It's totally impossible to exist in this country without a car. I can tell you now for sure, I've lived here my whole life. Without a car in this country, you're dead in the water. The funding includes a portion of the 2020 carbon tax revenues to support the sector. Meaningless words again. Minister Donoghue said that 9 million will be provided for sustainability projects around the country, including greenways and new urban cycling project. I read elsewhere that 9 million was for cycling. Wrong. 9 million is to be divided among greenways for new urban cycling areas. So instead of creating cycle paths here in Portlaoise or in Tullamore or in Athlone in the Midlands, what we're going to do is create greenways, so tourist areas, which is meaningless for transport. Totally meaningless. Go down to Waterford there, they have a wonderful greenway that cycles all the way out past Industrial Park and back into the city, meant to be absolutely gorgeous. As a commuting zone, it's useless to anybody, but as a tourist area, it's quite nice. So we're investing in tourism again, so which is a complete and utter joke. 3 million will be allocated for electric vehicle infrastructure. 3 million. I would spend that having parties for the lads who are going to install the car charger unit. He said he would double the number of local authority on-street charge points that would be installed in 2020. Double them. Double zero is still zero. How about fixing the ones that are already there would be a good start. How about supporting what's already there instead of trying to generate new ideas? He'll also support a new scheme to install communal charging points at apartment blocks. Like that wasn't the ministry of the bleeding obvious. Communal charging points. Put them in the street lamps. Put them in the posts around the edge of the thing. How do you do a communal charge point if only one person in the apartments has an electric car? Do they pay for it or you pay for it as a community? The Minister said an additional 8 million will be allocated to the Department of Communications, Climate Action and Environment to maintain the grants for people buying electric vehicles. 8 million. How many cars is that? Since they give out about 5 million per car. I have to do calculations.
A few moments later.
So 8 million, if 10 grand is the grant per car, that's only 800 cars. 8 million is only 800 cars. Think about that. If it's 5,000 per car, then double that, 1,600 cars. But still, what are we looking to get to by 2030? Is it 1 million electric vehicles? They're not increasing the grants for electric vehicles, so the grant you get today is the grant you're always going to get. But they may take it away. Remember that the grant is not necessarily for good. The 1.4% increase in the price of diesel is relatively, and I'll quote, relatively manageable, he says. Relatively manageable. But it's on top of the price going up last year, and the petrol stations taking advantage of the run up to the budget and up in their price anyway. So it's not actually 1.4, it's more like 2% increase as people consider changing to electric. Consider is a tough word to get. There's about 6,000 electric cars on the road in Ireland today. It makes up about 2.9% of the market. It's quite small still. There's a lot of interest over electric cars, a hell of a lot of pre-orders, and Model 3 is being delivered, and ID3 is coming next year, and all these other cars. But it's only an interest thing. People aren't actually buying these cars, and this is a problem. We're not running out to buy any car. This is the big effort. The price of batteries are going to come down, according to the Minister. I wonder where he got that information from. I wonder how he got that. I wonder where that came from. That would be nothing to do with the price of batteries going up now, would it? Now, interestingly, in another development, the minister has changed the way we measure NOx on imports. We know we've had Dieselgate from Volkswagen, right? They got caught, but they weren't the only one to get caught, but they were the one we're all talking about. What happens is now your imported car will be tested for NOx and you have to pay the difference in price. I'm just going to flick to a lovely article by my friend Neil Briscoe, who did a really good job on the Irish Times. You can check this out for yourself, right? So he did a very, very good and very in-depth job on this. Really appreciate the work he put in. So the tax is charged on a sliding scale. The idea is it's based on emissions that the car generates. The first 60 milligrams per kilometre of NOx emissions, you'll pay €5 per milligram, up to €300, right? For after that, from 61 to 80 milligrams, you'll pay €15, so it could be €600. Above the level is €25 per milligram. Okay, so that's really hard to work out, but basically it's a sliding scale. We worked out for you. If you were to opt for, as he uses the example here, again, it's Neil Briscoe, Irish Times, good shout out to it. I'll link to the article down below if you want to read it, the whole thing for yourself. But a 2014 Golf 1.6 TDI diesel would retail in the Republic for 12 grand. I'm quoting here his numbers. The same car can be bought in the UK for about £8,000, 8,800. Revenue will add roughly €1,880 in VRT to that, bringing the purchase price up to €10,760 today. From the 1st of January 2020, the NOx tax will add a €1,510 to that price, and the car's emissions will be 118 milligrams per kilometre. That would bring the total to €12,270, which means it's now more expensive than buying the car in Ireland. That's what the idea here is, to stop you going to the UK to buy your car. But it's not just you, dealers are doing this as well, and I'm telling you right now, dealers are stocking up. Most of this problem has come from cars that are from 2009, 2010. They're that kind of era where the NOx is quite high in a lot of these cars. But there is still bargains to be had out there, so don't panic just yet. But at the same time, if you're looking to buy a used car import from the UK right now, it's going to be tough coming into January. And of course, all of the dealerships in the entire country are holding their breath now for the next few months to try and figure out whether they're actually going to break even, have a lot of cars left over, or whatever. It's hard to detect exactly where it's going, but that's wiped that out. The other thing that's gone as well is grants for business users. You can still get your benefit in kind is still off the electric cars, but the grant is finished. That's gone now. So if you want to find out all you need to know about electric cars, you can come to the Ideal Home Show on the 25th, 26th, 27th and 28th in the RDS, and I will be giving a talk there called Drive Electric for about 40 minutes or an hour or something. I'm going to be talking about what you need to know about electric cars, the actual inside details of it, the actual independent thought of it. Not selling you anything. I'm not trying to sell you cars. I don't care if you buy a car or not. It's not really, I don't get anything from that. So come along if you really want to find out how to do your grants, how to get your home charge point, how to buy an electric car, which electric car you should buy, who's available on the market, and what's coming in the future. You're going to find out all of that sort of stuff. You can join me here every Sunday on the Sunday service, and I mean literally here. I sit here and talk to you and answer your questions for 2 hours of a Sunday every Sunday. You can join us in that. There is a live version of that coming up, and you can get in touch with me on the usual things. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I am on Facebook. I don't really answer a lot of stuff on Facebook, but yeah, I'm on Facebook. I find it a very negative space, Facebook. Anyway, hopefully you learned something from today's little talk. If you want more of this, leave me a comment down below to see if you want more of this kind of analysis stuff that goes on behind the budgets, or goes on behind the car manufacturing industry, or whatever it is, and I will do my best to come up with one every day. So, thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, I will see you on the far side.